Everyone, welcome back to my next week of my NFL fan series where I'm talking to 32 different fans from 32 different teams. And I'm actually kind of excited for the NFC East. Obviously, if you read the title, you know what I'm going to be talking about. And so I'm excited for the NFC East because, as I mentioned in another video, I feel like because of where I live, I'm located in an interesting spot where I always see the AFC, or when I always see the NFC East. And so it's interesting to me to hear from all the different fans of like what they're thinking, how they're feeling about their team, and then to really put this together. So for those of you that don't know, what happens is before I actually make this video, I actually go back and watch all of the episodes that are going to release this week. The cool thing in doing that is that it gives me a refresher of everything that happens. I also get to laugh because I think those conversations were fun and it was a good time. And then the other thing is it's like a reminder to me of like what people are saying about their teams. And then after I watch the video, what I usually do, or after I watch videos, is what I usually do is kind of sit down and like figure out what I was thinking before I watched the videos. And then after that, I come down and then I record this video. And so this video is just the preview of what to expect from the NFC East. So obviously, if you're not familiar with this, like I've said on every video, I'm just going to tell you the NFC East consists of the Washington Commanders, the New York Football Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Philadelphia Eagles. The cool thing about the NFC East is that I remember when it was called the NFC Least. I remember when they were getting the least amount of teams in the playoffs. I remember when they were just blah. They weren't doing anything great. It was just like, it just was what it was. And somebody from that division had to make the playoffs just because that's how football is set up. I will say that if I ever was able to implement a rule change, I think that I would want the top teams based on schedule to be in the playoffs. It doesn't matter division wise, but that's just my personal opinion. I could talk about that on a different day. And so knowing that the NFC East used to be the NFC least, it's kind of funny to see how things have changed because since then, obviously the Eagles have won. They've won a Super Bowl. They've been in the Super Bowl since then. Dallas has gotten better. I feel like when they got Dak and when they got Ezekiel Elliott, like they really took off and they've been better. Yes, I know at the end of the season, they always find a way to lose in the playoffs, but like they've been better. Also, the Giants are like this interesting conundrum because I don't want to say they've been better, but they're in this interesting place now where it's like, maybe this is the year where they kind of figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, like we'll figure out what that means. We'll figure out what that means. And then you have the Commanders. They went through the name change. Snyder had all these issues. It was like this whole thing. And now they're back. They got the Cowboys coach. They have a new coach. They have new ownership. They have a new name. I heard they're doing things to their stadium. And so listen, I don't know. Like the NFC East is maybe one of these divisions that's really about to take off, or I don't know. Like they're just relevant. You have two teams that are very relevant. You can't say the Eagles aren't relevant. You can't say the Cowboys aren't relevant. And so I think it's like an interesting division. And my conversations were super interesting, as I usually do for the ladies. Shout out to the two women that I will be able to talk to this week. I love it when any woman wants to come and talk to me about sports. So special shout out to you, Simone, and you, Lakita, for coming and talking to me about your teams. I appreciate you. But as I've done before, I just want to release a preview so that you can watch a little bit about how the conversations went, and you can see some clips before all the episodes start releasing this week.
And I want to see how this new team comes together, how they play well together.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to going to training camp in the end of July, early August, practice. Some of my concerns, though, are probably the offensive tackle position. Because we picked up a couple, but I'm curious to see how they're going to protect Jayden Daniels' blind side, because we saw Sam Howell like a tackle dummy.
Yeah.
Like he was getting killed out there. So hopefully they maybe somehow pick up someone else down the line, or maybe the players that they picked up are good enough that can protect them well enough that he won't get any injury. He'll keep his confidence throughout the season.
Yeah, that's not a great problem to have. But listen, like it's the name of the game. You got to figure it out. Yeah. Where were you on the Chase Young thing? Like, were you upset when they let go of Chase or traded Chase Young in the season during the season last year, or were you kind of like, oh, I kind of expected it?
Listen, if they can't get the quarterback they want, which was reported was Drake May, they try to offer the Patriots to farm to get it. I don't really believe it, but if
Really?
it,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't really believe it, but it is what it is. They
Yeah.
couldn't get Drake May, so I knew Malik Neighbors was going to be the pick because they need a number one receiver there.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. Every quarterback needs a receiver he can depend on.
Facts.
And he's going to be that guy for Daniel Jones this season and whoever else is the quarterback going into the future. We actually predicted the first two picks right there at the draft. There's a video out of us doing it
Dude,
because
who
I
was
knew
the second
Tyler
person?
Nubin.
Am I from Minnesota, right?
Tyler
Okay.
Nubin, the safety from Minnesota. We predicted that too. So I love both those picks. I think both those guys are going to be pretty doggone good. But
Awesome.
Malik Neighbors, I can't wait to see him. He's already making one-hand catches and everything. So
Yeah, I think
we're
he'll be
gonna get.
great. If he can get the ball, right? But just like any
Mm-hmm.
other receiver, if you can get the ball, you should be great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you said you all went to the draft. You go every year, or was that something you just did this year?
Nah, we've been doing it the past 2 years. We're gonna be going every year. Like I said, just follow the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. Did interviews at the draft. It's on my channel if you want to check them out.
Yeah.
Did interviews with fans at the draft. I mean, it's dope when you go out there, and we're getting better and better and getting more used to it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get our credentials. You're gonna see us doing interviews with Mel Kiper. Watch what I tell you.
Just making all the changes that we need to make this team better and be serious about a Super Bowl run. In the second round, we ended up trading up to get Cooper DeJean. Now, Cooper DeJean was somebody that we were going to be interested in at 22. If Terrion and Quinyon were off the board, then we were going to target Cooper DeJean at 22. Okay. But we didn't end up having to be in that situation. Cooper DeJean was available in the second round, so we traded up for Cooper DeJean, and that's somebody that we were interested in the first round, and we ended up being able to get him in the second round. That's someone who can play cornerback, he could play safety, he could play in the slot, also on special teams as a punt returner. So just all around Swiss Army knife. And again, like the secondary, our worst room last season, now automatically upgraded with Cooper DeJean, with Quinyon Mitchell, with CJ Gardner-Johnson. Third round, we go and we get a outside linebacker, defensive end, Jalix Hunt. Again, our defensive line did take a hit with Hassan Reddick leaving and with Fletcher Cox leaving. So again, we wanted to address that area. Then we go running back in the fourth round with Will Shipley out of Clemson, just your Swiss Army knife type of running back, upgrading that position because outside of Saquon Barkley, we have Kenny Gainwell who will be returning, but Kenny Gainwell is a little unreliable.
I was just okay. I was gonna say, how do you guys feel about? Okay, cool. We're on the same page. Okay.
So it's good that we, again, addressing all of the little things, even if it's not a big.
If you do that, what are you thinking this year? Are you thinking laughing at the end of the season? Oh gosh.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I sit down and I think about. When you sit and realize what's going on. And then you look at that schedule and you break it down. We just got every good chance as anybody else to win the Super Bowl. So I don't know why people keep looking. No, seriously. I sit there and I look at this team and I'm like, okay, playoffs must. The story is always going to be this. If the Cowboys can get to a NFC championship game, okay. I know a lot of people are always talking about Super Bowl this or Super Bowl that. At this particular point in my life, I want to spend championship Sunday, deciding if my team is going to make it to the Super Bowl or not. That is my goal every single time. And even this year, with none of the moves that were made, I sit here right now, and for Dak's well-being, I need them to get to an NFC championship game.
Okay. You know what? I'll listen. You be a fan, and you do you. I feel like every year it's their year. So as you can tell, there, pretty cool conversations. I feel like every week these conversations have been very honest, have been very practical. Yes, they're fans, but they're very honest fans. And I've loved listening to different people's perspectives. And I've loved hearing and understanding how they're looking at their teams and things that we should all be aware of, even though these aren't our teams. I will say the other thing that was super fun in recording this for the NFC East is, as I mentioned before, I watch these teams a lot. And so it was interesting to hear a fan's perspective on what they're seeing and what they're thinking in order to understand more things about what to be expected. It's also cool to me that at some of these conversations, we really dove into the offensive line. And I think the offensive line is like the most underappreciated group in football, but they do the most work because without a good offensive line, I don't know what to tell you. And so it's really cool just to see how different people and different fans are really coming on and talking about their teams and are really focusing on that offensive line. So that was amazing. I also want to mention, because I've mentioned this in every video, and I just want to make sure that we understand how this is going to go. The video that will release on Monday is the team that I think will finish last in the division. The team that will release on Tuesday is the team that I feel like will finish third. The team that releases on Wednesday is the team that I think will finish second. And the team that releases on Thursday is the team that I think will finish first. So obviously my opinion doesn't matter, but I just thought it would be cool to release things in that way. And then before I end this, I also want to comment and say that this was kind of hard for me because I feel like this is one of those divisions where every team is quite frankly an injury or two away from everything changing and things being very different. I think the teams I chose for the bottom two kind of fit the bottom two, and I think the teams I chose for the top two, I don't think it will be like a shocker who I picked and who I chose. But I think it's just going to be interesting to see how this division plays out because, like I said, obviously injuries are a part of football. But I think that this division will be heavily impacted by injuries more so than other divisions, just because these teams are already kind of jockeying for position when it comes to their division. And this doesn't mean that other divisions aren't jockeying for position, things like that. But there's always just like this weird thing that happens with these divisions where it's like they're so close and they're so similar that one or two injuries really does make or break a situation. So, as I always say, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. If you have a second, please make sure that you find each of the people that I've talked to. I have all of their information in the description. So if they have YouTube channels, if they have Twitter, if they have whatever they wanted me to share with you, all of that information will be in this description. So sit back, enjoy, and relax. It will start to release tomorrow, as will all the other things, and just enjoy this. And I'm super excited to see how this goes because these conversations were really fun. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have anything to add, any comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And most importantly, turn on those notification bells, because if you don't turn on those notification bells, you will not know when the episodes release this week. So as always, thank you so much for watching.